فكل مرة بتقعد تتصفح موقع من مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي اللي انت مشترك فيهم، بتلاقي ناس بتعيش لحظات حلوة ولحظات انجازات، اللي في فرح واللي في الساحل واللي اشترى عربية جديدة واللي بيحتفل بمولود جديد واللي نجح في الماجستير واللي جات له منحة، وانت مش موجود في ولا حاجة من الحاجات دي. بيجي لك لحظة كده بتبقى عايز تبقى جزء من الأحداث دي، تحضر مع الناس دي كلها الحاجات دي، وإن أنت كمان يبقى عندك الحاجات دي زيهم بالظبط. لو مؤخرا بتحس بالأحاسيس دي يبقى أنت عندك حاجة اسمها فومو. فومو يعني إيه فومو؟ فومو هي اختصار الكلمات الإنجليزية The Fear of Missing Out، الخوف من الفقد عامة وفقد الأشياء اللي بتحصل حواليك. دي بقى نوع من انواع القلق الاجتماعي اللي اوجدته في حياتنا السوشيال ميديا، لان هي بقت بتعمل ضغط علينا وبتحسسنا ان احنا المفروض نعمل حاجات كتير قوي 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 في الوقت الضيق جدا جدا. النهارده هنتكلم عن روايه بتناقش الموضوع ده، وهي روايه فومو. برضو الروايه بتحكي قصه فتاه شابه، الفتاه دي بتحضر رساله الماجستير بتاعتها وبتقابلها الفومو في حياتها من خلال سعيها ان هي عايزه تحقق انجازات دراسيه وانجازات مهنيه، وان هي تكون في علاقه عاطفيه مستقره، وان هي بعد كده تخلف، وان هي تحافظ على شغلها. حاجات كتير عايزه تعملها في نفس الوقت، عايزه يبقى عندها علاقه متصله مع جدها وجدتها، وعلاقتها كويسه باهلها، ودايما بتشوف صحابها. هل ده كل ده ممكن في الوقت الضيق اللي احنا فيه؟ انتوا هتعرفوا الاجابه لما تقروا روايه فومو. كاتبة الرواية هي ألموت تينا شميت، وهي ليها أكتر من عمل للأطفال، حوالي 3 أعمال كتبتهم للأطفال، وعملت أكتر من مسرحية إذاعية، بالإضافة إلى أعمال نثرية وفي مجلات أدبية مختلفة. دلوقتي هنتكلم معاها أكتر عن الرواية. أنا مي مجدي وأنتم بتتفرجوا على من الآخر.
My first question is, do you pass by personal experience which encouraged you to write this novel, or it's your insights about the reality?
Well, there are some personal experiences that inspired me to write this novel. The narrator of the novel is a little bit different from me. So she's younger than me, and she has some, for example, I've never been that long to the US. She stayed a full year. I've just been a very short term there. But there are some habits like being always late that unfortunately I share with her.
I meant that you passed by an experience of FOMO yourself.
Some experiences I share with my narrator, but for example, I never had a bicycle accident.
Time factor was very important in your novel. And the events was not mentioned in a chronological order.
Yes.
So, in your opinion, to what extent time is affecting FOMO? Someone is experiencing FOMO.
This person, the narrator, has very many choices. So she has a very nice life. She can choose between many things. The world is open for her, but she doesn't have enough time to live all these possibilities, and so she gets a kind of stress and has to deal with the fact that she isn't that free, that there are limitations. And in her case, it's the time limit. And I think, especially in Germany and Austria, where there are so many commodities, and it's really a very safe and life for young people, they still have to deal with some limitations.
I was also thinking about Jack Kerouac, and he was so inspiring to the main character, and she spoke a lot about him and everything. So he is not that known to the Arabic reader somehow. So could you tell us a bit more about him, his life, and does he experience any FOMO?
No, I don't think so. He is just the kind of opposite person who he made his choices, but he also just decided to live with his friends and write about it and experience some very unusual things and to break free from expectations in contemporary society. But still the world was open to him, but still he didn't have that many possibilities. There was not that many media to spend time on it. He had, I wouldn't say it were easy choices for him, but it's a kind of, well, it wasn't such a chaos of possibilities. And then, well, he drank too much, and he had friends who really made drugs, and they really, in a way, they didn't, well, they wanted to celebrate life, but in the way they just, yeah, they didn't respect life in a way, for they just really thought about their fun, and it's quite, the narrator and I myself, I have very many problems with this attitude towards life the Beat generation had.
I also found that you introduced your story through the style of the narrator who is representing the main character. And I believe this kind of writing is more feeling the reader to be more close to the events and feeling cozy. So is this your preferable style of writing in general?
Sometimes well, and especially in this case, I really like my narrator. I think I would like her to be my friend. I really like her. In the novel I wrote before, it's quite different. This person, also a narrator who says I, is a terrible person, really terrible person. And I like that too, but it was, well, I feel much more comfortable with this person. And
do you believe or you think that women are more vulnerable to fear of missing out more than men?
I can only talk about German and Austrian society. I think yes, because the question to have a family, to have children, and is, well, the time slot is smaller, and so you have to make choices. Well, not very early, but in a time when a man can say, well, I have plenty of time. And so because there are so many choices open for women, which I really appreciate. So there also is the stress to have a job and be successful in your job, and then there's also the question, do I want to have a family with children and work too? And so there really is a kind of stress. And then there's the availability of informations about so many other things you can do too. And so there really, you really, especially when, well, I live in Vienna, and there are so many interesting concerts and theater and so many things going on, and you really need time just to stay alert what's going on. And so really there is sometimes you can think, well, it would be nice just to live somewhere and concentrate on your work and don't think about anything else.
Do you think that people who are comparing their lives to others are more vulnerable to experiencing FOMO?
Oh yes, of course. And I don't think my narrator is the kind of person who tends very much in this direction, but there are always these things that, well, I try to allude to social media and the way you get very many informations from friends you aren't that close to. So she always knows what her friends and not so close friends are doing, and so she gets, and even if she doesn't envy them for their great things they are doing, she still gets the information what you could do, and so there is some kind of pressure and feeling of FOMO. And
even if you feel happy for someone, for
yes,
something, you still have something in mind, like if I were there, if I was present, there is something like telling you.
yes.
Yeah, it's true. So I really like the quotes you wrote in the beginning of each chapter. Yeah, and my question is, how difficult for you to find the matching quotes which express the theme of your novel in each chapter? How was this difficult for you?
Well, it took some time, but I really loved that, and so I'm really happy you liked them, because well, at the end I had much more than I really could use, but there are, most of them they are quotes from texts or even films that, well, this first one from Edgar Allan Poe, I knew that for a long time, and it helped me to find the topic for the whole book.
What is the most important social issue your novel is trying to present or to discuss, in your opinion?
I don't think it's a feminist novel, but there are these topics about women's life we already talked about that were quite important for me. And there are also, well, some thoughts about social media, and but mainly it's well, I think it's about the way we experience society. Can feel something. I don't know if this really is a social topic, but the way the narrator, I think, tries to find and define her place in history, and it's not that important for her, but she feels some tensions about what what is her situation and how she experiences the things that are going on or have happened in the past, and how she feels about it. And
my last question is: do you have a German origin, and you moved to live in Austria in Vienna for a long time? So, the first question or the first part is why you choose to move to Vienna and to stay there, and what's the cultural differences between the German reader and Austrian reader?
The first reason is quite private. My husband is Austrian, and but still, I had my editor is Austrian too, and the German and Austrian literature, well, it's mainly the same language, and so they are quite close, but they have quite, well, there are different traditions, and I've also always felt very close to the Austrian literature. It's something more formal and more experimental, and there are very many great Austrian authors that I like many German authors too, but I felt very close to many Austrian authors before. Well, I got to this Austrian editor, and so I felt that matches quite all right. And apart from that, Vienna really is a great city, and I feel very comfortable here.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting.
But still, when I wrote this book, I knew very, very precisely that I had to decide: is she Austrian, the narrator, or is she German? And I decided she is German and has some, for me, very German problems. And I think that, well, the next book might be more Austrian.
Yeah, of course. You will have chance to write more because it's like you still have time. Yeah, good luck.
لو حبيتوا الحلقة ما تنسوش تعملوا لايك وشير، واكتبوا لنا رأيكم تحت في التعليقات. ايه رأيكم في الرواية؟ هل عشتوا تجربة الفومو ولا لأ؟ هل سمعتوا عن الفومو قبل كده ولا دي أول مرة تسمعوا عنه؟ نشوفكم الحلقة الجاية. باي باي.